Hi everyone, welcome to Caffeinate Advocate. I'm Jamie and we're here with Heather. And Caffeinate Advocate is the place where we drink coffee and advocate for all things wellness. How are you today, Heather?
Good, Jamie. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I wanted to talk today about the importance of talking to your doctors. If you think something's wrong with you, to keep pushing, even if you get an answer. There might be something underlying that you know, because we know our own bodies better than a doctor does.
I agree with that. I think that as you start to develop a rapport with your doctors and things at times, it shows if they are actively helping you in your medical care.
I wanted to share a little story about myself. Probably about 2017, I started gaining weight. And, of course, like everyone else, I blamed it on other things. Maybe I was eating too much, not exercising. And I went to the doctors and I said, something's wrong. And she, thank goodness, she did. She ran tons of tests. She came back and said everything was fine. I was fine. So probably another year goes by and I'm still gaining weight consistently. I started going to the gym. I started making everything homemade from scratch, thinking I was doing the right thing. And I was still gaining weight. And I still kept going to the doctor, and I kept saying, something's not right. Something's not right. She still was running more tests, but nothing was coming out wrong. So I had an allergic reaction the one day, and I referred myself to an allergist, where I found out I was allergic to some foods.
And then did you continue to go to the same doctor, or did you switch doctors?
So I did not leave my doctor. She's a great doctor. Just that they don't always know what we know. We know our lives. So I want everyone to know, if you feel like something's wrong, you need to keep pushing and find out what's wrong. Don't just accept an answer if you feel like something's wrong.
So after you had gotten those tests and things done, what did you proactively do at that point?
I researched and researched and researched. I researched about the food allergies and different diets I needed to be on. Personally, I'm allergic to wheat and yeast, so that takes a lot of changes. And with the diet changes that I made, 2 years later, I'm off all diabetic medications. It wasn't really about the weight loss. It was about being healthy again. And I feel much better. I was getting rashes. I had aches and pains in places. I know I'm a little older, but it's still too young for that, I think.
So as you say that about the research and the things that you've done, I mean, what would you suggest if someone was encountering issues where maybe they aren't being heard at a doctor, or they aren't being heard maybe in their mental health or something? What would you suggest they do?
What I've done personally, and I found it worked every time, if I do research, print it out and take it to my doctor. That helps. Or just keep being consistent, though. Keep going back. If your doctor's not listening to you at all, as I said, my doctor was listening, we just couldn't find it. If my doctor wasn't listening, I would 100% switch doctors, find someone who's going to listen to you and that cares.
If you were to be talking to a peer, somebody that you work with, or somebody out in the community, and they were to ask you where to find the resources or things to help them in order to, get in there and be comfortable talking to their doctor, or, expressing themselves in the way that they need to, what would you say to them?
First, say there are a lot of resources online, but if you need help, there's peer support, blended case managers. You can always talk to your doctor and your PCP or your therapist. And if you need help going there, peer support can also go with you to those appointments to help advocate. But I do think it's important to research before the appointment. You could do that with your peer support or a friend, family, just to have someone help you through that and have questions ready for your doctor. Show them that you have done the research.
I absolutely agree with the being prepared part. I suggest that to a lot of people. I think that as you go in and you're more prepared, they take it a little bit more seriously instead of just throwing ideas out there all the time.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
stuff. So now during some of that, during your experiences with these things and the time you spent with your doctors, was there ever a point where you just felt insecure about it? Did you ever feel that there was a point where you were maybe I'm not these things, maybe I'm just projecting these things?
Very good question. Me personally, no. I knew something was wrong and I was going to keep fighting until I figured it out. However, I've worked with a lot of people that when the doctor says you're fine, or they find a different diagnosis than what maybe is not right, and I find a lot of people they're okay with it because the doctor told them. And, you know, because they have the degree and the knowledge, which I agree with, but also if you feel like something's wrong, something's probably wrong. If it's not, you know, you need to keep fighting.
So we are at the point now in the show where we are going to bring out our coffee can question for Caffeinate and Advocate. This is where you get to pull a question out of the can that you do not know, and we'll answer it. So we'll shake it up. It might not relate to anything that you're talking about,
Okay.
but we will go with it here. So,
Right.
What does it say?
Where do you think someone should start
If they can relate. Well, we've answered that a few times,
Yes.
so we're going to go ahead and pull another one.
Are you in a place where you feel comfortable with your outreach? I do think I am comfortable with what I'm doing, and
You think you could speak on it other places?
yes, I think I could. I'm pretty passionate about it, so yeah, I could probably go on and on about how foods affect a lot of illnesses that we have and a lot of stuff. So yeah, I do think so.
We really appreciate you being on today, and we are very glad to hear what you're advocating for. It's definitely some information that I'm going to be taking back for myself as well. Guys, thank you for joining us on Caffeinate and Advocate. We appreciate you watching, and you never know where we'll pop up next.